Hi people, you're welcome to my channel. So today I'll be showing you how to draft, cut and sew the hip and pad and butt pad. Okay, so now for this basic skirt first, I'll be starting the waistline from 18 inches in order to get the knee length. Okay, so it's a dress. So whatever I measure as the knee length, you go up by 3 inches. You understand? You see the way I went up by 3 inches in order to measure the knee length for the dress. Okay, but I'm just drafting the skirt alone, which I will join the upper part when I'm done. So so this is the length of the skirt. Then I will measure my hip line. That's from my actual waist to my hip. So it's longer than the usual skirt hip line. So I'll be using 12 for that. And now the waist round, I'll mark it, which is 8 inches, 1 inch for that allowance. You can see, then 2 inches for my seam allowance. Okay, so now note this: whatever foam you're using, try to know the actual measurement. So this is supposed to be 1 inch, but I can only measure 3/4 inch from it. So this 3/4 inch, now I will times it by 4. That means for each side of the body will be multiplied by 4, and whatever I get, you add it to your actual hip round before you divide. So assuming I'm working with the hip round of 42, I'll add 3 inches, which is 3/4 times 4, 3 inches plus 42, became 45. So that's how to do it before you will now find the quarter of the hip round. So now after dividing mine, so I measured the quarter of the hip round and added 2 inches for seam allowance. Then whatever measurement you have on the hip line, you take it to your skirt length or the hem length also. So after taking it there, I will now go in by 1.5 inch. This is for fitting. Okay, this is the front pattern. I'll be using 1.5 inches. You can go in by 2 inches. It depends on how fitted you want the part to be. So now I went ahead to fix in my dart placement. So I'll be using about 6 inches for the dart length. Okay, then I'll connect it to the waist just this way. Remember, I already added 1 inch on the waistline for the dart allowance. So now for our pad, normally for a normal skirt, you would have come down by about 1.5 inches, okay, or 2 inches. But this is for a dress, so I have to come down by 4 inches because my focus is on the hip. So I don't want the pad to go into the actual waist. Then on the hip line, you come in by 6 inches. On the hem line, you go up by 2 inches. On the hem line, you go by 2 inches. You connect it to the 6 inches on the hip line, just this way, then you connect. Then on the towards the waist, I came down by 4 inches because the pad is not going to go into the waistline. But if you want yours to start from the waistline, you can just come in by the 2 inches, okay, or 1.5. So now this is the back. So I'll be starting measurements also from 18 inches, which is my waistline, to measure the length, which is stopping at my knee length. Okay, so the same thing we did for the front, and I'm measuring the hip line also. Then I'll connect it. So first I will now measure 1 inch down for supposed to be for zipper allowance, but when we are done we'll still create the zipper allowance again, but just leave 1 inch just like this. Then I'll fix in my waist round. Okay, 8 inches, 1 inch for that, and 2 inches for seam allowance. Then a quarter of my hip round plus 2 inches seam allowance on the hip line. And remember, I said whatever we have on the hip line, we'll take it to the hem length, then add the 2 inches also. So now, after taking the exact thing on the hip line to the skirt length, okay, so at the side part, I'm going to come in by 1 inch. and connect it to the hip. Remember, front I came in by 1.5, but for the back, from that same side, I'm coming in by 1 inch. Then now at the center back, I also went in by 1 inch and connected to the hip line in order to have that perfect pencil shape. Okay, so that means the skirt. Then on my waistline, I will go in by, you can go in by half inch or 3/4 inch, but I went in by 3/4 inch. This is to remove excess bulge at the center back. So this one will give me the fittings I need on my waistline at the back. So this is how the back will be like. So now from our new created lines, I will now measure 1 inch outward. So is this 1 inch I'm measuring now that's going to serve as the zipper allowance? This is because of the contour we just created, our zipper allowance cannot be straight again. So it has to go with the format of the skirt. I hope you can see. So this pad I'm shading is the zipper allowance. I'm supposed to use another color of pen, but it's not available at the moment. So I just need to create something for you to see. Then I went into fixing my dart allowance from the first line. So you can still make the dart length to be about that 6 inches or 6.5 being the back, because it will be raised up by the pot. So this is what we have. So our basic skirt is ready. So now we'll go on and work on the padding. So from the waistline, remember, like I said, if it were to be actual skirts, you can come down by 1.5 or 2 inches. But this is a dress, so the waistline is higher. So I have to come down by 4 inches. Or you look for the method that best works for you. But this method is perfect. It works very fine. Then from the hem line, I came up by 2 inches. It's the same thing with the front. So now if from the center back now, at the zipper, after the zipper allowance, I'll come in by 1 inch. Then I'll connect it. If you're able to get the measurement for your underbutt measurement, you can use it. Okay, but without that, in case you don't have the client's underbutt measurement, just go ahead and use this. It will still give you the perfect shape. So you just connect it this way, and remember to blend the pointed part out. That pointed part, remember to smoothen it out. It shouldn't be pointed. Okay, so this is it for the back. It's as simple as this. Okay, I believe there's nothing confusing. So we're still saying the same thing about the underbutt. So assuming I have this person's underbutt, I'll just measure it. Then at the underbutt, I'll go in by about 4 inches and just connect it that way. But I don't have this underbutt, or I don't want to work with the underbutt. So this works fine. So go ahead and cut it out. Please, it's important to label this part. Label the part that is up and the down part. Please always do that to avoid confusion by the time you cut out the foam. I'll go on and cut it out carefully. So this is what we have. Anyhow, you can label it just to make sure you're sure. So now go ahead and cut out the foam. So I'll be doing that one after the other, because if I want to place the foam or fold, it will be so thick. So after cutting the other one, I have to place it this way to cut out this second part, the second part. Then before you remove your paper, make sure you label, please, so that I don't end, they look similar, so that I don't end up putting the up down and vice versa. So I cut the back, and this is the front. Like I always say, remember to label, please. It's important. So this is what we have now. So now we need to trim this foam. we need to trim the edges to be so flat so that it won't be obvious when we're putting it on. So I'll go ahead and trim every part of it, all the edges. You trim it carefully. It takes time. Okay, so this is what it looks like when I was done. And in case you trim the label out, make sure you rewrite it. So you have to trim it from the extreme and it will climb over. So now I have to cover it. You can cover it with an interfacing, but I'm using a lining or a lining, anyone that works for you. You can use any of the interface in the soft ones or the air stay or gum stay and iron it over. But this I'll be using the lining, so I cut it out and to run, I'm going to sew it over. I'll sew along the edges just to put the lining in place. To make sure it is well secured, cover it up with pin so that when sewing it won't be you won't miss it. So this is it. We'll go and stitch it over. This is everything. So now I've gone to stitch it over. Remember to remove all the pins to avoid any form of accident. So now we'll go now. Just make sure transferring the label it properly. Then go ahead and trim the rough edges. Trim it carefully. So I've done that. So we need to bring them together. Note the part that signifies up. So this is how it's going to be. You pick one of the back and one for the front and bring them together. So in order to be accurate, I'm going to notch the midpoint of each so that I can start attaching it from the midpoint. With this method, everything is going to align properly. So you see, I'm going to bring the midpoint together and secure with pin. Then I'll put the remaining part also with pin. So we'll do it for the second part also. Okay, so we'll go and stitch. So I'm done doing that. So you can see this is what it looks like. And also the second part also. The journey part is going to be inside. Okay, so this is what we have. Okay, so now we need to attach it to the skirt now. So I already work on the skirt. It's a 8 pieces skirt, a mermaid 8 pieces skirt, that fish tail. So I'm going to open up my seam allowance, the side seam allowance, and position this actually. So now the pad is going to be in between the skirts, in between the main fabric and the lining. So I don't want the pad to be exposed. So now you're going to observe how the pad is going to lie on the body and transfer it that way to the lining. You understand? Just make sure you are sure of your position before you stitch it. So the joining on the pad, I'm going to align it to my side seam. Okay, and I'll go ahead and flatten out the rest of the of the fabric on the pad and stitch it. So I'll first secure the mid part, then I'll sew round. Okay, then the second pad also, I'm going to open up the side seam, come down by the same 4 inches I marked. But on the skirt now, I have joining allowance also, so I came down by 4.5 inches as a 1 inch for my joining allowance. I'm going to join the upper parts too. So I'm securing the midpoint also, the midpoint first before I flatten out the pad on the fabric and use pin to secure it first before going to the sewing machine. So you do this carefully, make sure there's no overlapping on the fabric part. So we go and stitch it round. So this is what it looks like. As you can see, it's neatly stitched. Okay, so but if you want your pad to show, it's okay. Okay, so this is what it looks like. This is it. So this is how it's going to be on the body. Then I'll pick up the actual fabric and place it on top. Okay, so this is how it's going to be. I hope you find this video helpful. Please remember to give it a thumbs up, and if you are yet to subscribe to my channel, please subscribe. Feel free to share your opinion in the comment section. Okay, so this is it. You can see actually the hip is enhanced. Okay, thank you for watching. Bye.